Well, hi everyone, and what we're going to do today is talk about stress and anxiety. Can you hear me? Yeah? Thumbs up. Good. Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Jan. Thanks, Lumi. So why I decided on this topic is because of the situation we're in. I'll just wait. There's 2 more people coming in, so. Go. So good morning, everyone. And I want to talk about stress and anxiety because of this situation we're in, the COVID-19, the pandemic, the situation where we're being asked to isolate, to stay at home, hello there. And why I want to talk about it is because it doesn't have to be a stressful situation. And if it is, how and what can we do to get through it? So not only do I want you to have an understanding of stress, but what are some tactics that we could use to possibly get through the stress and the anxiety that may come from that. So originally where stress comes from is your interpretation of an event. So what does that mean? It means that we've got this event and we're all dealing with it differently. For me, nothing much has changed. For some people, the isolation has brought on a lot of fear, which they haven't probably experienced for a long time. And so with that, with that fear comes a lot of anxiety about the future. What are we going to do when we get through this? I actually believe that some of this isolation that we've been through has been one of the best things that we've ever experienced. Why? Because it has allowed us to stop, break our state, and think about what is it that we're doing now and what is it that we could do differently when we come out of this. And I think it's been amazing for that. And I actually liken it to the stress I went through when I had an autoimmune disease. Because 1 in 2 people now have autoimmune diseases, and I'm wondering how many people, through their fear and anxiety in this moment, have created more of an illness or have, in fact, allowed themselves to get onto better health options and created some wellness for themselves. Because when I had lupus, the universe gave me lots of little nicks. You know, it used to give me some cramping in my legs, or it would give me some soreness in my muscles. They're what I call kicks from the universe. And then I'm not paying attention, right? I'm not paying any attention to that. So in the end, it goes, you know what? You're not paying attention. I'm going to hospitalize you. That's isolation. It's no different to what we just went through. And I was thinking about it and I thought, the universe kept sending us little kicks. It sent us bushfires. It sent us cyclones. It sent us polluted universal experiences in rivers and trees and our animals, and it sent us illness. It sent us 1 in 2 people with an autoimmune disease. It gave us all these kicks and we weren't paying attention. And so it said, you know what? I'm going to put the whole world into a pandemic. I'm going to isolate the lot of you and I'm going to ask you to just think, stop and think about what you're doing and where you're at. And I know that might be a bit out there for some of you, but that's exactly how I'm feeling lately. And I thought, so for some people, this could be the best thing that ever happened to them. That ability to say, what was I doing before? And was it where I want to be? You see, stress comes from when we're not happy with who we are or what we're doing. So if we're going to work every day like a robot, then that's stressful. It's stressful to think that we can just hop in the car, go to the same place like Groundhog Day and come home and think that we're in a better place. So it's about time we started to not only love who we are, but love what we're doing. And when we come out of this, what would we really love to do that would drive us? Does anyone there have any questions?
You're unmuted, so you can ask questions.
No questions?
I think I go with you, Lynda. I think that's why this has happened.
Okay. Thank you.
It was all
Thanks, Jan. It's interesting. It just came to me as an idea.
It was all about me and not about we, for a start. And I think I caught up in time, greed, full of self.
You know, great. And Jan, I think we've got so much evidence out there, and it's because our rivers are beautiful and clean now. You look up and the sky is blue. I noticed the stars the other night were so shiny because we haven't got the pollution in the sky that's covering them. We've cleaned up our universe, but have we cleaned up us? So I think it's a perfect time for us to start looking at how do we clean up our own act, and how do we start paying more attention to who we are and so when we come out of this, we come out as an enlightened, empowered person that can go on and do whatever they want to do. You see, if I look at my past, it's not really reality. It's a perception of what I thought was real. And it's a perception of what I thought I could do. But I don't need to take any of it with me. Whatever happened up to a second ago is actually irrelevant for my future, unless we choose to put it in our backpack and take it with us. Hence the stress, hence the people that look like this, walking 2 steps forward, taking 1 step back. They don't seem to be able to move forward. And then you've got your future. When you move out of this isolation, what's going on in the future, it's not really a reality, it's a perception. You can give it whatever picture you like. You paint the picture of your reality. You decide, what is it that I was put on this planet for that I could start actually doing now? And then what you've got then is now. That's all we've got is now. This is real, right here, right now. And so paying us attention, looking in that mirror and saying, would I buy from me today? It's not about buying a product, it's about buying my idea. It's about, would people buy my caredness? Would people buy the fact that I really care about them and where they're going? And if I can help in any way, I'm here for that. Or am I so full of stress that I can't even think or begin to think that when I come out of here, it's going to be any different? You see, stress is such, it actually manifests in this area here. So from the heart down, it's in the bowel area. And 97% of diseases stem from that area. My lupus stemmed from that area. There's no two ways about it. So the irritable bowel, the colon problems, the bloating, all that stuff comes from that stress, that inability to move forward. The hip, the knee, the inflexibility, rather than, you know what, it's about what is it that I really want to do? I've had an opportunity to slow down, to calm down what I was doing and think about me, to think about the be. Who do I want to be? Not the do, so I can have. So other people, I believe stress comes from other people's opinions, that we do stuff so that other people will think we're somebody. Rather than, next, nobody affects you without your consent. Nobody. We don't care what other people think about us. What other people think about us is none of our business. What we think about us is absolutely imperative. And to do that with a stress-free body that feels really wonderful is to wake up of a morning and you start your day and you think, you know, what beauty can I put in today? So for all you people out there and for the people that have come to my house, I got up this morning and I made gluten-free banana fritters. I'll hand you one through the Zoom if I could. It's not about being stressful. It's about how can I make the day better? How can I do it different so that everyone gets the best out of this opportunity? So does anyone else have any questions, any conversations from me that I can answer before we move on? No? All good?
Linda,
Yeah.
what about, sorry, I had to unmute myself. What about, well, you said that stress comes from other people's opinions. What if it's work related and you can't really, like, you're dependent on these people, or you can't get away from them, and you have to deal with them every day, and it just makes you so, makes you feel like quitting, and makes you feel like, there's no way out, and you're stuck and overwhelmed and everything like that, like in a really negative way, that someone is affecting you and you can't next it. It's not enough to next it.
Okay, it's the same response. They don't affect you without your consent. So what's going on for you that allows the people in your workplace to affect you, number one? Secondly, why are you stuck? Is your subconscious mind telling you this is not the job for me? However, you're stuck because of the financial link that you have with that company or with that workload. So the only reason you would be stuck is because you've made a choice not to move from that particular work. And look, I know this is hard, because thinking that I have to leave my workplace and that leaves my dollars in order to go, but the universe wants everything that you want for you. And when we get the courage to step out or to say to the workplace, you know what, if you want me to stay with you, then these are the things I would like to change. And you give them a list of things that need to change in order for you to stay. And let's see what happens with that. So now you've got your big girls or big boys undies on, and you're saying, this is what I think we need to do in this workplace, and it's not happening. So the opportunity for me to stay is getting less and less and less. What can you do as a workplace? And what do other people think in the workplace? Are you the only one that thinks like that? Or do they actually all think the same and no one's speaking up?
I think it's more like the job is great and there's lots of great people and there's lots of work, and the stress can come from the fact that there's a lot of work as well, and there's pressure to deliver, and not just one person, and sometimes it's not even related to the person. Sometimes it's just because there's so much work to do and deadlines, and sitting in your computer all day and meetings all day, and then you have to work at some point. You can't really work if you're in a meeting most of the day. So like that's a strange one as well, because for me sometimes I thrive on the busyness, and I need to be busy to feel like I have done something, that I have been productive, and like I've achieved something, and there's like all these things that I've done, and then at some point you might end up burning out. So again, like you said, like doing, I guess, and not being, and yeah, just feeling like burnout, like autoimmune, and everything that comes when you get to that point. It's just, how do you stop? How do you help yourself? How do you choose the right thing for you when money is important, and the people in the job are also important, and the projects might be interesting and things. So it's
yes, they are important, but is it the right job for you, A? And B, can you put your thoughts on paper and present that to the company and say, you know what, while I love working at this job, these are the issues that I would like to address. These are the things I would like to address, and maybe other people, and maybe do a Zoom like this where other people have a chance to speak up on what's going on in the workplace. So it's not actually becoming a stressful situation, it's actually becoming a chance where you can all voice your opinion. It's like, what's working, what's not working? Is there something that we can do better? Is there something that we can do different? Or is there something we need to let go of, that you physically can't do that amount of work and be in that amount of meetings and homeschool for some people, which is what's been going on, So I really feel for the people that have been at home needing to do that sort of level of work and including homeschool of up to 1, 2, 3 children. And it's almost sometimes the opportunity to just take a breath. You know, how can I look at that task differently? Because if we're coming at every task with stress, obviously every task is going to look very different for us. It's going to look harder. It's going to look like we're not coping. Rather than, we call it hakalau, where you bring the earth energy up and the universal energy down to the heart and expand it out. And say, right, how can I look at this differently? Is there something I can do that will change this scenario to allow me to stay in this job because I love the work? However, I'm just finding that this and this is not working for me. I need to be able to, voice that's not working for me. And secondly, I need to think about, is this the absolute job that I want? Do I feel great about getting up and going to work on those days that I do that?
Thank you.
Anything else? Does that help at all, Sophia?
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I think that's very helpful. I think it's kind of like a wake-up call to maybe a break would be a good idea, maybe to stop even for, I don't know, 10 minutes and think about it and see if that's something that you want to do. I think that's important to like responsibly and actually consciously recognize what it is that you want to do. So yeah, definitely. Thank you.
That's right. That's my pleasure. Anyone else got a question or observation? Okay, so one of the ways that we can deal with stress is to get 3 chairs out. It's called wisdom training. So we put a chair here on the right, we put another chair here on the left, and we put a chair in the middle of those two. And this chair on the right becomes what's going on for you right now. What are the stresses that are going on in your life? And look at the value areas. So look at the stresses that are going on in your relationship, in your work, in your health, in your family, in your religion or spirituality, all those different value areas of your life, and just write. This is how I'm feeling now. And write it out. Sometimes that's one of the best healers. Write it out. When you're completely finished in that chair, move over to this chair. And when you're in this chair, say, right, what do I want instead? If I was to wake up every day and be totally happy and in love with what I'm doing, what would that look like? And so you start that conversation with, I am so happy and grateful now that so you're now tricking the subconscious mind into already being there. And then you write, guys, this is how I started setting my goals beyond my death. It's so powerful because it dawned on me here in this chair here that I want to leave a legacy. And so I better pull my finger out and write some books because that's going to be my legacy. And I was crying, the whole thing, it all happened in this chair. Yeah? And then I realised other people have done that. And for the first time in my life, I really got why I'm here. And the purpose of my being here now is to leave a great legacy. And so then I moved to the 3rd chair. And the 3rd chair is you look at chair number 1, you look at chair number 2, and you say, who do I have to be to go from where I am today to where I really want to be? Who do I have to be? And that's where I learned to step up. That's where I learned to start loving who I am. And that was tough. I didn't like who I was. I could do lots of things. I've done heaps of stuff. I didn't really like who I was. It was really, I'm getting emotional telling you about it because it's a real story. And so I had to get over that and say, you know what, the universe, there was 1 billion sperm out there and you survived and the universe allowed you to survive so you could step up and do what it is that you need to do to leave that legacy. So what are you doing? The Joel Bauer quote, of God's gift to you is more talent and ability than you can ever use in your lifetime. Your gift is to use as much of your talent and your ability as you can in your lifetime. Whoa, that moves me every single day that I feel like I'm slacking off. We have a purpose, yeah? We don't have to be on purpose all the time, but at least we can take a break and go, okay, universe, that's why I walk for 45 minutes every morning in the dark. I'm just one with the universe. I ask questions, I'll say, and this whole talk can just come up from that walk. Tell me what to say. I'm guided all the time. I love that experience of feeling guided. So let's look at if that becomes stressful for you, and then we become anxious. You see, anxiety comes from worry and doubt. I'm worried about the past, therefore I'm doubtful about my future. I'm worried about what I was doing before I got into the COVID-19 experience. Now I'm doubtful about what I can do when I get out of it. So what happens is that the fear sits in the subconscious mind, which then emanates in the bowel. The body then becomes anxious. The body becomes anxious. So, and that led me to a disease. How do we get through that? We start to do what you're exactly doing now. We got some knowledge. There's only ignorance or knowledge. So you're getting knowledge. By getting knowledge, all of a sudden the conscious mind goes, oh, I understand. I get it. I know what to do now. And then the feeling in the subconscious mind, which runs, by the way, 96%, it runs your body, is now got faith. It has a belief that you can do whatever it is that you want to do. And the result is that you're at ease. You're at ease in your bank account, you're at ease in your health, you're at ease in every aspect of your life. You're at ease. You start to say no to things that you don't like. You start to take a few more seconds. It's called responding. And you start to take those seconds and go, is that something I would really love to do? No, then I won't be doing it. Is that something I would really love to do? Yeah? Okay, then that's what we'll be doing. And that's called responding. The other opposite of that is reaction. That's where you bang a door and nobody wins. Okay? So when we've got that anxiety, let's say we've got the anxiety, we need to stand here in the now and think about what it is we're anxious about. Now, the subconscious mind knows no difference between what is real and what is imagined. So you're giving it right now what's real in your mind. This is your perception of what's happening right now. Then I want you to take a few steps. Now, when you take those few steps and you walk forward, you're walking forward into your subconscious mind. You're giving it a new picture. What is it that you want in the future where you won't be anxious? What are you doing? What are you learning? What does it look like? Get that picture in your head. See it, feel it, taste it, touch it. All your senses get involved. What does it look like? When that wedding's over, what does it look like? When that event that's coming up, what does that look like? I was asked yesterday, would I be prepared to hop on a plane and go to Vietnam? I said, sure. Are they flying? So I look into the future and I ring the people that belong to Flight Centre and they say, look, even though they're advertising the flights, they're not flying yet. And I said, okay. So I get back to the other lady. She said, it looks like it's just going to be you and me. I said, then it will be you and me. But when we're ready to go to Vietnam, why? Because I come from a place of faith, of belief, that if we're ready to go to Vietnam, then we'll go and keep our charity alive and do the things that we were meant to do. However, I'm not going to be silly, but what does that look like? What does it look like when that's complete? What does that look like with us going over there and helping those people we've been helping every year? That this is only temporary, what we're going through. And if we come out of this with a whole bunch of fear inside of us, nothing's going to change. But if we step into the future and have a look at it successful, you know, my son said to me, he said, Mum, this could be the best thing that ever happened to a lot of us. He said, I've lost a whole business. I lost $80,000 worth of business. And we were the first ones to get cut off because we're in entertainment. But he said, you know what? I've never heard him talk like this because he was so adamant that he had to keep doing what he was doing. He said, it's really started to make me think about what I was doing. I said, I'm sure it has. And if that's what I want to keep doing, and I've heard a lot of people say that, it's that time to stop and say, smell the roses. What am I doing? Some people have loved that reconnecting with the family. Some people have loved just stopping from that running around and being somebody else's dog's body. And taking some time to say, is this what I really want to do? So this exercise allows you to step into the future and say, this is what I want. This is what it looks like. This is exactly what it looks like. And you give that picture to the subconscious mind. Why? Because your subconscious mind is symbolic. It's run by symbols. So you've got to give it a very clear picture of what you want. When you've got that picture, all of a sudden that ease around your whole body, you can feel it. You come back to now and you go, okay, what do I need to do to make that happen? What do I need to learn to make that happen? And for some people, it's what do I need to learn to let go of? You see, as a coach, I don't clear your stuff, you do. I don't change anybody, but I instigate a lot. Why? Because I undo the zip on the backpack, all the rocks and all the stuff that you've got in there that has allowed you to feel stuck. Yeah, that's what the coach does. Undo the zip, and it's your job then to drop the pebbles or the rocks or the boulders. So what is it I need to learn to let go of? And then what's been preventing me? If it's fear that's been preventing me, what can I do about that? How can I get faith? How can I get some knowledge and feel that faith and be more at ease about my health, my job, my relationship? What do I need to do to get that? What knowledge, what more knowledge do I need to get to make that happen? Comments? Observations?
I have a comment. It's Janice here. I'm here with Lynda. I did the 3 chairs with her earlier this year. Remember?
Yep.
We did the 3 chairs exercise earlier this year, and I just realized how effective that was, because I haven't looked at the papers, the ones that I've done before, but things have changed so much since earlier this year up until now. So many things have happened in my life. Not all good, and it's hard sometimes, but I was able to let go of what am I doing now, and just writing everything down. I think everything just came out of my body, and I was able to move forward. And I'm still learning, I'm still working on a lot of things, but being able to see from the 3rd chair and see, okay, what do I need to be in order for that to happen? And one of the things that I did was take action and have a voice. And that was really powerful for me, because after that activity, 1 or 2 weeks after, I was able to start taking actions on things that I needed to. And I'm glad I did, because out of this isolation, I made those steps before isolation happened. And I think it was just a better time for me. It was an interesting experience, just having those 3 chairs exercise. And I'm actually going to look back at my notebook and see what I've written, because I
What
haven't,
would you change?
and what I would change again, because I thought that was really interesting, and that was really a powerful exercise and very, very moving as well, because you're looking at yourself from a different perspective. So that's, I just wanted to share that because that was really important and helpful for me.
Thank you. And I've actually seen the change. It's been amazing.
Lynda, can I bring how can I say, a new perspective maybe? Just want your opinion on this, because when you mentioned the second chair where we state that everything is already done.
Now, this second chair is about the desire. What do you want it to look like?
Yes, but you said that we need to state it in a way that is like already happened. Like
yes, so it's I am so happy and grateful now that tricks the subconscious mind into believing that you could already have that. Like you could walk out of here tomorrow and say, you know what, that's what I want, that's what I'm heading for, and that's what I need to take action on.
So when we talk about taking action, would it make more sense to, because we already stated that we have this to trick our subconscious mind, would it make better, it would be better to say, what can I do now to speed it up? Because we already affirmed that we have it, as is like done. So when we ask the questions, like in the third step, what can I do to rather than say, what can I do to make it happen, which will set us back to point 0, would it be better to ask, what can I do to speed it up, to make it happen quicker?
The third chair is actually about you. Who do you need to be? And then you will take, when we sort out who we need to be, I need to start loving who I am, because I haven't been giving myself much respect. And I wonder why I'm not getting respect in the workplace or at home. It's because I'm not respecting me. And we just talked about that with Janice when she arrived this morning. So it's about when I'm giving myself enough respect to want to go for this goal here, then I'll take different action. I'll then look at what do I need to do. And the other thing we do, it's a great question, by the way. The other thing we do is we'll start to say next, the word next, in eliminating old habits the minute they come up. So when you used to react, for example, you go, next, I don't do that anymore. And you'll start taking a few more minutes to say, how can I make that happen? What can I do? And you'll have more chats to the universe about, okay, what are some great actions that I need to take so I can make this goal over here become a reality? It may mean that I need to dress differently so that I feel more confident about who I am. It may mean that I get up half an hour earlier and include exercise in my regime because I haven't been doing that. It may mean that I change what I'm eating so I'm actually healthier to be able to achieve that anyway. It may mean that the way I converse with other people is that I'm asking better questions rather than telling them what to do. There's a whole lot of things that we can do in that from that spot, but it's about really connecting with you. Who are you, or who are you being that you could be that's different? That's why I wrote that book, Be, Do, Have. Who am I being that would allow me to move from where I am now to that desired state?
So if I may share, one of the things that I had in the B, in that chair was like, I'm being decisive or taking action, or just the fact that I said I'm going to be decisive was really powerful for me, because when those instances come up, then I procrastinate, I don't want to decide. I know that I need to be decisive to get to that other chair. And that was that, and the next, next. So just having that that statement, need to be decisive, have a voice, and be confident in what I say, things like that was really powerful.
Put my big girls undies
Put my big girls undies on, like Lynda always says.
So I did like the book, Lynda, by the way, and there is on the same note, there is the one thing that I took from it at the beginning when you said that is now time to take responsibility. Yeah, I was like, oh, that was so powerful when you take responsibility. That stayed with me. I actually read it quite a few times, and sometimes I do go back and reread that particular passage because that spoke to me on taking responsibility about how we feel and how we are. So I like that.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Anyone else got to say something? Okay, so anxiety, as I said, anxiety is simply a bodily result from worry and doubt that can be changed like that. The minute we decide that, you know, we don't want to be anxious, that we can set some programs in place so we can step into the future and just give that future a different picture. What is the picture? What would I love to be doing? Yeah, you know, people make up a wedding, people do an event, people they have to go and see someone they haven't seen for a while. You can actually go through this little exercise before you go and make it that it's really successful. Visiting someone that you haven't seen for a while because everyone's been in isolation, what is that going to look like? Go in there and see it very successful. And I tell you what, you go with such a calmness that you think, what on earth was I stressed about? You know, every time I had the lupus came up, I would go and get my cholesterol tested and a few things because I was really keen to know how the body dealt with that. And every time, that's because when we're unwell, we're stressed. That's another sign of stress, that anything where the health has been damaged. And so my cholesterol and everything would be up high every time I had the lupus. And I went, oh my gosh, I've been in fitness and health for so many years, I'm not going to tolerate that from now on. So the minute I did this whopping detox and just allowed myself to say, you know what, for my retiring years, which I probably won't get enough time to do, but for my retiring years, I'm going to remove whatever's around my middle because that's the brown fat and get that away, get those toxins away. And so that for the rest of my days, I'm going to be in a different healthy state to be able to handle whatever comes my way. And that's what I did. And was it easy? No. I was lying on the floor some days going, oh. However, it's the best thing I ever did because it's never come back. And it's about, that's one thing now I don't have to deal with. It's about new habits that you then change and they become new habits. The old habits are gone. And so now, from being in that place there where you want to step up, you do start to step up. Not only that, I've been writing a book a year, and it just comes so naturally. The other thing I'd like to say is I was thinking about this morning, that what happens for me to get through stress and or anxiety is to plan. And I'm not a planner, right? I'm the girl that sees everything and goes, I can make that happen. Now I plan. So before I write a book or before I do something, I'll get a date. I'll get a date from the editor, a date from the publisher and say, okay, when does this have to be in by? Now I'm writing another chapter now on an anthology and it's got to be in by the 1st of June. So I know by this Monday, it'll be done. And if I don't have those dates, because dates, it's like that whippet thing, you know, you get that date and you say, right, I'm going to make it happen by then. And I work it out that I can do this, this, and this, and it's got to be in by that date. So planning really takes a lot of the stress away. And then the universe starts to give me the most amazing ideas of how I can write that chapter or write that book. Because now I'm focused, so that's the other word, focus. I'm totally focused on what I have to do, and I've got a plan of the end date in mind. And then in NLP, what we do is we work backwards. So we've got an end date here, and we go, okay, what can I do the week before? What can I do the week before? What can I do the week before? What can I do now? What can I do when I leave this Zoom today, right now, that will assist me to get to that? whatever that is, whatever this desired state is that you were in, what can I do right now? What are 2 actions that I can change every month from the time I leave this Zoom that will allow me to reach that desired state? And that may include working on self, or it may include a different type of action, you know, and having that positivity. And every time a negative thought comes up or a glass half empty thought comes up, you go, next. I don't do that anymore. Any comments from you? So how's our time going?
Well, we've got a few more if they've extended it.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is just see if there's anyone out there that's got some questions or something that I can help you with, because I think one of the great things about when you plan is what do I need to let go of is also one of the great things. So what's working, what's not working, and make a list of what's not working. And Sophia, this is also for you with working with your company. What's not working? How can I do it different? When I did this in my business, it was like, what's not working? What can I do different? How can I do it different? How can I do it better? But the other thing is there something I need to outsource? So it's no use me stressing over a technical issue on the computer. It's still not going to work out. I'm not a tech head. So that would be something, if it's not working, I ask the neighbours. No, I'm just joking. Thanks, Nigel. Thanks, Sophia. So, or I asked Janice. That's why Janice is here today. She set all this up. So it's no use you stressing over something that you're not totally kosher with. It's about how can I outsource what I'm not totally good at so that we can all win from this experience. Yeah? And then reset the goal. So resetting the goal for me is, how can I get this chapter done by Monday or Tuesday? How can I be on another podcast on Wednesday? What needs to happen? And it's about scheduling and planning and just putting those things in and just keeping your eyes. So I've got a diary, and literally a hand diary. I've got a diary on my phone. I've got a great big wall diary up on my wall, being a visual. So I need to see what I need to do, and I need to address that every day and say, and in my diary, I actually write my to-do list. You know, I was audited once, and they just had to read my diary and look at my big wall planner, and they could see exactly what I'd done. And you can see exactly what needs to be done for that day. So your planning is ideal. And then you know what? You'll sleep like a log because you're not stressed. It's not laying in your mind about what you need to do. It's already written down. You just read the diary, and quite often you don't even need to read it because you've already written it. You just tick it off. I love ticking it off. Who likes ticking things off when they've done them? Tick it off or put a nice highlighter through it. Yay! And that's the beauty of it. So writing everything down, and then makes it your ease. You know, some people ring me up and they say, I phoned you yesterday, or I phoned you on the weekend, and I say, yes, you may have. It's not about I have to answer every call. It's not about I'm there for everybody else. It's about I'm going to take some time out. Tomorrow, I'm walking with my 2 sisters. We're going to do a big walk along the beach and up to a golf course. So we won't be here to answer phones. It's about taking time out for you and just having some time for us, clearing our heads so that we can come back and say, okay, what is it I want to do for the next week? Has that helped everyone? What's one thing that you've learned from today?
Sorry, I'm muting. I learned that there's many questions that you can ask, and they're great questions. I also think that when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, your subconscious will help you find the right answer, the right path. So if you feel like you need to learn something, then your subconscious will tell you that. If you feel like you need to let go, then you will know that you need to let go. So it's not I don't think it's a question of doing everything, like every single question. I think that you will know which question you need to answer for yourself to get to where you want to be. So I think that was my big thing that I learned today.
Wonderful. And your subconscious mind is actually linked to the universal energy. That's universal energy. So it's that gut feeling. The universe is talking to you through your subconscious. So the word that comes up for me there for everyone is trust. It's time for us to trust the messages.
Sorry.
Great point, Sophia.
Thank you.
Hi,
Linda.
Linda.
And then
I just know that I need to take more time for me.
I'm echoing.
Right. Wonderful. Beautiful, Patricia. And Patricia does amazing stuff. If you're not aware of Patricia's Facebook site, Patricia Morrison, have a look, because she makes the most beautiful food. Is to die for, and she's always out there sharing all her health and food recipes and giving people great advice on their health. So we really applaud you, Patricia, for doing that. Thank you.
I like the part, who do I have to be to reach the goal? Because I think that's, we always think, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? But in order to reach a new goal, you have to be a new you.
Yes.
You have to have new behaviors, new, as you said, knowledge as well. We need to learn new things and behave in a different way if we want a different result.
Great. And I think Bob Proctor and John Canary come to mind with the T junction. So they drew a T on a page. What activities am I doing? And how many of those are allowing me to reach my goal? But also, how many of those are just making me busy? Because that seems to be kosher. When we say to someone, oh, we're really busy, like doing what? So it's about the stuff that's not reaching our goals. You know, that's what's not working. It's, can I do it better? Can I do it different? Or can I let it go? Yeah.
Linda, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Sorry for being late, but like it's as good as it gets with my family. So I'm not sure if you discussed what I call ad hoc anxiety. So when you get up in the morning and some ridiculous thought springs into your mind and you cannot get rid of it. So it can be irrational. It could have some grounds, but you cannot say snap out of it, because you need to, like, I'm very rational person and I need to think over that and find a way out, but it comes back again and again. So a few things, you know, you are concerned in life, like war and peace, some global happiness of your kids and stuff like that. So that could be very annoying. Sometimes it occupies the entire of your brain. So I'm not sure if you discussed this type of anxiety, and if not, so are there any tips or techniques?
So yes, it may be good for you to watch this all again, so you can see what we did about clearing that. But when you wake up in the morning and you're in this negative thought pattern, again, number one, it's a choice. Number two, we need to say, what's the purpose of it? Everything in your life will have a purpose. So what's the purpose of me doting on this negativity, knowing that it can keep me in a bad state for the whole day? And if it's to gain attention, if it's to be a victim, if it's to whatever it is, I'm going to get a bit tough here, but this is exactly what goes on. If we choose to stay in that negativity, there's always a purpose for it. And so that's what I said, when you say the word next, and I even shake my head, next, I don't do that anymore. Like, next, that thought needs to go. What other thought can I put in that's way more constructive for me to live my day? So what we do is anchoring. And when I go down the beach every morning, I'm actually too early for the sun at the moment. However, when I see it, I anchor all this beautiful positivity. So you might say, think of a time when you were happy. So you go back into your subconscious mind and you go, oh, and it might come up when you were a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. And you anchor that feeling. You press on that knuckle and you just anchor that feeling of when you were happy. And you come off the minute it starts to dissipate. And then shake your head. Then you think of a time where I was really confident. Yeah? Go for it. Yes, I've got it. So you anchor. And so this is called stacking positive anchors. So you can come up with a whole lot of stuff. For me, it's sunrises. I put sunrises. So if I'm having a bad day, I just go, anchor, all these suns come up. I can start my day again. Here's another sunrise. But it's confident and happy and maybe inspired or motivated or going forward or falling down laughing or what are some, what was a time where I felt really loved, when I really felt good about who I was, and anchor it. Stack those anchors on that knuckle. And when you wake up with a not so totally positive thought, hear the language, then you anchor all the positives and you will be surprised at how that can change your whole state. Why? Because you're in control of you. Nobody affects me without my consent. Nobody or nothing. Whatever I'm giving consent to, there's a purpose. Does that help?
Okay, I'll try. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
Maybe do an anchoring session next time.
Yeah, so maybe we will. In a couple of weeks, we'll do a session on anchoring, because there's another great anchor where you can release the old habits too. Thank you. Thanks, Sophia. Anyone else got a question? Otherwise, we'll wind it up. We don't want to get anxious. Is this something you'd like to continue, guys? Hands up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. I'm happy to. I love to do that. And I'm really grateful for Janice to come and help me do it until I learn to do this myself. Janice has been wonderful to come and help set this up, so thank you.
Thanks, Janice.
Thank
you, Janice.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
So have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. And thank you, Linda.
Oh, pleasure.
Obviously.
I've got
We'll come
muffins
get those
here, guys,
muffins
when
in a
you're
minute.
ready. So when, by the way, these muffins are gluten-free. I couldn't decide between dark chocolate and blueberry, so I put them both in. And so, yeah, so it's about, what can we do and so that doesn't then drag your energy down. All these little things make a big difference in your world. They really do. What can I do that's one thing different? I exercise. We take our dog for a walk 6 times a day. People say that's a lot. Well, compared to what? In that T-junction that John Canary brought up, the things he added was you must have exercise. You must have good nutrition. You must have water. How are you going to drink your 2 litres of water a day? Yeah? So you need to have things that are added, and you must have some sort of knowledge. So whether you go over this or if you read something for half an hour, how are you going to gain that knowledge? If you can't add those 4 things into your day, what 4 things are you doing that you need to take out? Time for you. Take them out because they're not serving you. If they really need to be done, then how can you outsource them? Or just changing what you're doing. This changed my world. I spent 4 days going from that side of the T to that side. Why? Because I did it all. I got up and did the washing and did the kids, got the kid off to school and fed the dogs or whatever, and put the washing out on the line. And then I went to my first job and I came home and did my second job teaching aqua fitness. Then I came home and cooked the dinner and I did the ironing and I put it back in the. You get it? Who else was there? Come on. Who else? No, it wasn't just me. We did all that because it was really kosher to be busy. Now, it just doesn't matter. What do I need to outsource? Yeah, what do I need to do better? And what do I need to let go of? They're the key points here. Then you reset your goal. And you do that every 4 weeks. Every month, first day of the month, you reset that. Think about what you're doing. How can I do it better? How can I do it different? How can I outsource it? Thank you. Have a
Thank you.
good day.
Thanks, Lynda.
Thank you for being a part.
Today. Thank you.
And we'll see you in a
Thank
couple of
you.
weeks.
Loves, bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.